got you. Heart in a jar, for sure.
Dude, he's such an interesting cat.
What the hell?
I know, right?
Is he bad? Is he a bad man? Hello! And welcome to Birds on Film. Birds on Film. Birds on Film.
Oh, I can feel it. You feel that in the air. It's that crispness. It's a little cold. It's a little chilly.
It's a little cagey.
Ooh. It's Spotlight September. Spotlight September is going to be a yearly series from us. We're going to be focusing
We have a whole 5-year plan. Don't worry about it. Subscribe now.
For this September, we are focusing on Nicolas Cage.
And he's been in a lot of movies.
He's been in so many films.
So, not all good.
No.
But we did not watch every Nicolas Cage movie. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's...
So we watched 3 Nicolas Cage movies, 2 of which are like favorites of his.
One of which Bird wanted to watch.
That's right. Snake Eyes, that was my pick.
Pig and Mandy.
Yeah, so Pig and Mandy are like his top 2 favorite films that he's ever done. And I really like, obviously Moonstruck is my favorite Nick Cage movie.
But we've already done it.
But we've already done it. So I chose Snake Eyes. I just really love the big swing, the choices that man made. He's just screaming.
Go, baby! Yeah! In the 90s, he worked with so many talented people. Like David Lynch, Francis Ford Coppola.
Mm-hmm. Nicolas Cage is a Coppola.
Oh my gosh, he's a Nepo baby.
He's a freaking Nepo baby. He doesn't want you to know, so he changed his name, but we know.
In the name,
internet,
you're gonna
dude.
love this. You're gonna love this. The name that he picked, Nick Cage, is named after Luke Cage, Power Man from Marvel Comics.
A freaking nerd.
So I changed it to Cage. It's a combination of Luke Cage from Marvel Comics and John Cage, the avant-garde composer. Speaks volumes about everything I've been up to ever since.
90s, late 80s Nick Cage is a whole different beast.
A lot of yelling.
Lot of yelling.
Just
big swings from that man. Just very out there choices. And I mean, just in the first 5 minutes of Snake Eyes, he's so
on one.
He'll punctuate a sentence with "Yeah."
Hey, that's Tyler! What are you looking at? That's Tyler!
The first line he has is like, he ends the line with saying, "I'm Ricky, yeah!"
I'm Ricky!
Oh, also in Snake Eyes, his character's name is Rick Santoro.
Yeah.
Which is so funny now. My best friend used to work for a junk removal company.
Yeah.
And he had to go to Rick Santorum's house for a job. And Rick Santorum gave him a couple cookies as a tip instead of money. Or he offered cookies instead of money. And they were like, no thanks.
Give us money, please.
Yeah.
Wealthy man, don't give us fucking cookies. Hi, this is really rough built-in PC microphone, Big Dust. We're putting Rick Santorum and his shitty cookies in the goddamn squawk box. I just had to do this bit. I really like it.
In the first 5 minutes of Snake Eyes, you see exactly where Rick Santoro is on the food chain of like petty criminals in Atlantic City. He's not a top guy, he's totally delusional, but he's not a bottom feeder. No. And then you find out he's a cop, and it doesn't change anything. It's just seamless.
You don't really find out he's a cop until, like, basically after you've seen him try to shake down a dude, right?
Yeah, he's already done something illegal, or you know, he's betting on the fight. I love Snake Eyes for the, like, swift decisions. Like, you know who he is so quickly, and then you know who his friend is so quickly. And that's like the whole movie hinges on like that betrayal.
There he is! You got a pass, sir?
It's all right, he's with me.
It's just so interesting to see the way the camera moves throughout the scene and the way that they put together the scene and how they block the scene. When you have that big climactic scene with Ricky and Kevin.
Oh, the big reveal. Yes,
the big reveal. And in the background, as there's this like disgusting plot that is so anti everything that like you should stand for as someone who's in a position of power, right?
You've got Ricky, who is a slime ball, and Kevin, who he looks up to in a lot of ways, as like the guy who got out, who's doing something with his life, who is like a job he's proud of, and like morals and whatever. Comes to find out that this guy who's put on a pedestal has like really hurt people and betrayed even Ricky's sense of like morality.
You don't abandon the whole system because of a few bugs. You fix it.
The whole time he's talking about this, you have the American flag in the background.
He's so sinister. His like facial like features, the way he speaks, like his mannerisms, he's so perfectly cast in that role because he's disgusting.
He looks like an evil little man.
You got nothing, kiddo. Snake eyes.
He said it! He said it!
And you have Ricky, who is just like kind of a bumbling, like greasy 2-bit criminal, but like not a murderer.
No.
Which he makes clear when Kevin asks him to murder somebody.
he doesn't do it. He's offered $1 million.
Not even to murder her, just to like accept that she will be murdered.
Yeah. And it's
and he can't do it, which is beautiful.
It's beautiful. And you can see Nick Cage performs it so well. A scene in particular that I love besides the big reveal is the scene where it's revealed to him that his best friend's doing it, where him and the girl are sitting in the stairs.
Why'd you run away from me?
You don't see the conflict on his face, where someone else, another actor might have made it more evident that he was like really conflicted internally. Whereas Nick Cage is like, shut up, you stupid fucking bitch! Like,
look, I'm sorry if I...
Who gives a shit if you're sorry?
Is all in on denial.
When he's putting the pieces together, calming himself down, and he says like...
You're positive he's the one you saw with Rabat before the shots were fired? People rushing in front of you, and you were nervous, and you were scared. You could be wrong.
Hey, maybe you forgot something, which I love that line so much. Him trying to, like, that denial, as you said. Him trying to do that, her saying, her,
anger.
like, agreeing with him. And being like, hey...
She's like, gosh, like... Classic coercion from a cop, right?
Exactly.
Like, maybe I did.
He's done this 1,000,000 times before, and you can see it in him.
Yeah,
I know him, and you could be wrong. Yeah, you could.
There's no nuance to his emotions. It's all in on anger, all in on denial, all in on bargaining, all in on anguish, and he's 110% on every emotion.
Your glasses didn't fall off till after the gunshots. Ah, shit.
It's an excellent film filled with excellent people. This is a note from Eel, our good buddy.
Eel O'Neill, the first ever guest on Birds on Film when we reviewed Jingle All the Way.
Also the person that recommended Snake Eyes to both of us.
That's right. Yeah. That's where I got the phrase big swings, and it fits so good.
He says he's one of the only, like the last American actor. British actors and like other actors that come in and play these American characters for these American films, there's a lot of like subtlety. Cage, he's huge.
Oh my gosh.
He's loud.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
It is.
And so...
Hey, Tyler! Go, Tyler! Go, Tyler! Go! Go!
Tell him! Tell him what we got here!
Ain't no we, Kevin. You got snake eyes.
He said it! He said it!
All right, so Mandy. We also watched Mandy. So, Bird, have you ever heard of this film before seeing that this was Nicolas Cage's favorite film?
No, I've never heard of Mandy. And then someone described it to me as a zombie movie, and I was like, okay. It's not.
It's not.
I can see why they said that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of like wide, lingering shots on nature. The music is very like tonal, just vibes.
I appreciate the change in tone so much.
Going from his previous films to this?
No, more so talking about just like the film itself, Mandy itself. This was very different from what he was doing at the time, a lot of the films. A lot of the movies he was doing was very like, hey, I need a paycheck. I need money, because he was really bad.
Has Nicolas Cage ever turned down a movie offer all the time? I know that's not the urban myth you want it to be, but I turn him down all the time.
This film is so odd. It's this crazy acid trip, rock and roll, revenge story.
The experience is supposed to feel like you're on drugs / in a sci-fi novel.
Like Mandy, the character, is doing a lot of the time.
They incorporate a lot of those aspects of what she's reading, what she's interested in, the occult, medieval, sci-fi stuff is incorporated into the larger story. But Nick Cage's performance...
Knock, knock.
You still see a lot of the like classic Nick Cage decisions of just like screaming.
You're in my shirt! You're in my shirt!
But he's also like toned it down a bit.
The opening scenes with him and Mandy, where they're just kind of laying down and just being with each other, it's very sweet. It's very well done, I feel.
I think anyone could have played that role until the end.
Yes. By the end, Red, his character, has transformed into something completely different. Sinks down to the level of the antagonists of the film.
Yeah.
And you can see it not like, I think the big scene to me that I always think of when I think of this film is the bathroom scene.
You're a goblin.
He's finally come to and realized that the love of his life has been burned alive in front of him.
Brutally killed.
A lot to take in, but he just like hits the bottle and screams. He's just drinking, screaming, drinking, screaming. That's it. And it's probably like a minute and a half of that. And it's very Nick Cage.
And then he goes out and playing on the TV, it's a commercial for Cheddar Goblin.
When he finally like frees himself from his bonds and like she's been burned alive and he like he's able to walk away from the scene of the murder and walks back into his house and just stares at the TV.
And it's this surreal commercial.
Yeah,
with
Goblin
kids.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah, with kids having a good time.
And he's like, Goblin.
You're a goblin.
And then he goes on his journey to get revenge and he kills.
And he kills a lot
And he
of people.
kills. And he kills.
And you can see the physicality in his performance. Because Nick Cage is a very physical performer.
Right.
He doesn't half-ass anything, which is something I adore about him.
I think sometimes when he's not screaming, he falls a little flat.
Really?
I do.
Okay.
But I think that's just like a Nick Cage choice.
That's just him.
That's just Nick Cage.
That's just him. He rolls with it. Man.
And he also doesn't talk too much in this movie.
No, he doesn't. He's very...
I meant it when I said all the way up to the end.
Really?
Yeah. I think anyone could have played that role right up until the last scene when he's driving away and he like hallucinates or he sees Mandy next to him and he's like...
I'll blow you, man. I'll suck your fucking dick.
I'm your god now.
I think what Nick Cage really showed in this film is that, like, you give him the ball and he's gonna run.
Yeah.
He's gonna run as far as he wants to.
He's gonna go in the direction that he wants to.
Exactly, and I love that about him.
Similar to Pig.
Derek, who has my pig?
I feel like Pig could be seen as a sequel to Mandy. Mm-hmm. Because you've got a character named Fuck Pig in Mandy. And then in Pig, he has to go out of his way to say,
I don't fuck my pig.
so...
It works!
Can I help you?
These two films are very interesting choices to me from him.
As his favorites?
Yes, because watching them back to back is almost like a companion piece. Mandy is, from the outside looking in, revenge film. Like, obviously, wears them on his stripes. Pig is, to me, almost a reverse revenge film.
To me, Pig is about grief and healing.
Yes.
He has to face an old life and an old world that he associates with his wife who's now dead. And it's all through this journey to get back his pig. And he doesn't get back his pig. Spoiler.
She died.
And he doesn't get back his dead wife.
No.
And that's what the whole movie's about. Which I didn't catch the first time around. I watched it and I said, this ain't about a pig. He don't even care about the pig.
We didn't... We had a very big disagreement. Do we still?
No. Dustin loved Pig.
I loved
from
Pig.
The moment he saw it.
Yeah. If I can say, I mean, my favorite film of that year is probably one of my favorite films I've seen of all time.
I saw it and said, Dustin, this film made me feel nothing. Which to me, that's like the harshest criticism you could ever level at art. It made me feel nothing. And I watched it again, and I said, oh, I missed the whole point.
I'm the king of the jungle.
I thought it was about a pig. I thought the movie was about his pig. And the whole time that he's like taking all these side quests, I'm like, you don't fucking care about your pig. Go get your pig. You know, there's no sense of urgency. You're not trying to get your pig. Where's the pig? And now I realize the movie's not about the pig.
It's not about the pig.
I'm just an animal lover.
That's fair.
What are you thinking?
I was thinking if I never came looking for her, she'd still be alive.
This is a very toned down performance by Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Again, doesn't speak too much.
No.
And I guess that's sort of my criticism of his performance is that I don't feel like he's struggling to speak. I feel like that's the intention and it misses.
I feel like he doesn't want to speak. To me, I feel like, in my mind, he said everything that he's wanted to say.
So all of his like silent moments where people are pressing him and he like refuses to answer or just like ignores them or doesn't want to clue them in, it's not because he's hurting, it's because he's like, I don't want to talk to you.
I honestly feel like the character is very narcissistic. He plays an old chef that was very like renowned in the city of Portland, and then when he goes back to it to look for his pig, city is completely changed now.
I remember a time when your name meant something to people, Robin. You have no value.
We have some amazing scenes, one of which is when it's basically revealed that he was this very esteemed chef. The diner scene.
Today's journey begins by uniting the depths of the sea with the riches of our forests.
Where him and, I think it's it's Nick Wolf? Is it Nick Wolf?
I don't know actors' names.
Him and the kid that's
Amir.
driving around, Amir. They're sitting down.
I know the characters' names.
All bathed in the smoke from Douglas fir cones.
I'd like to speak to the chef.
He dresses down that chef.
It's awesome.
Very personal. He's like, I remember you. You wanted to open a pub. What is this shit? You enjoy cooking this shit? Bleh.
What was it You always used to talk about opening and wasn't in a pub.
Nobody wants pubs around here.
What was going to be your signature dish?
Liver Scotch eggs with a honey curry mustard.
They're not real. You get that, right?
That's how I personally take it.
So you view him as a narcissist?
I view him as a narcissist who is hurting. And
wow.
They're
They're always hurting.
That's how I personally view it. I do understand your perspective, though, as a criticism towards him in this role. I do understand that.
Because to me, it seems like you've got so much hurt buildup that the words don't come out. They're stuck in your throat and you're just barely like able to get them out at that stage of grief. He does not struggle to get the words out. He just isn't speaking, and then Amir threatens to leave him, and he says bare minimum to get him to come back.
To me, what's in the back of my mind is I agree with that criticism, but then I think about the ending of the film. And I truly do think, like, he just brings it all together. Silence, no audio or anything, just a man breaking down. And he's not crying about the loss of his pig. He's crying because he never truly grieved his wife.
I don't like the way he cries in that scene.
Really?
He sits down crisscross applesauce instead of hunched over. So his chest is up, his head, like... It's a very unnatural way for someone to break down. That's my criticism. Cried bad. I mean, it's a beautiful film. A lot of great shots, but yeah, Nick Cage definitely showing a softer side than certainly Snake Eyes and Mandy.
You should use stale bread for French toast.
What a career. What a time.
What a man.
There's
Just gonna say it. Would.
Fair. Like now?
And yes, and you?
Yeah, would. Definitely. National Treasure, Nick Cage?
No.
Yeah,
Only
absolutely.
One I wouldn't.
He gives me bad vibes.
Yeah, bad vibes all around. Too serious. Fucking nerd.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
Hell of a career. He's been in so many projects. I mean we could spend a lifetime trying to watch all of the Nick Cage movies.
And probably have a really good time.
Yeah, true.
He's a tour de force.
That's why he was our inaugural Spotlight September.
Truly. There's not a better man that does it. And with the 3 films that we've selected,
yeah.
I mean, does he honk?
Oh, indefinitely.
Yes.
For the rest of time.
Big honker.
Nick Cage invented the honk.
I don't care! I ain't no freaking monument to justice!